Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VAU Mic Check. Tonight we have corporate copy. It's commercial. It's for an operating system, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. And, of course, we have this corporate copy designated to not sound corporate, but to sound like something everybody's going to want. And believe me, I use this operating system. They really will want it. So with that, we are going to read through this, as we're accustomed to doing. What we do is we read through the copy, each one of us, then we discuss, and then we go back and read and critique and give each other insights on how to, improve our read, whether it be the way we're buttoning up the end, taglines, whatever it happens to be. So that's for all you new guys in here. And lady.
Yeah. Yeah, got to include everybody. So yeah, we're going to have 2 rounds of reading, essentially. First one will be for your chance to go ahead, listen to everybody else's interpretations, reads, things they did good, things that maybe not so good, stuff that might affect your read, things you didn't notice before. Then we're going to have a group discussion on the whole thing, and then we're going to have another set of reads that's actually based on the group discussion. We're going to talk about where we should be going, what we should be doing, and we will, the final read will be essentially directed by the rest of the mic check. And whether you knew or not, it doesn't matter. If you have an opinion on something, we'd love to hear it. Bring it up. You never know what kind of discussion it could, it could spark.
Absolutely. So, I think we kind of shook things up a little bit, so we don't know who went first last.
Yeah, last week was a little different.
Guest on last week, so we did not record in different kind of copy reads. So, who wants to take this first?
I don't care.
Okay.
Shall I?
Yeah,
Go for it. Give us a read.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing systems in the world. Dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. Who gets to go next? You get to choose, Leonard.
Let's go with Alan.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right, Alan, you get to choose our next victim.
Oh, okay. How about Nathan?
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and This okay. Safe and reliable computing powered by and protected by the Linux architecture and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came excellence. From freedom came elegance. I don't know where I got that word, excellent.
Well, the OS is excellent.
Yes, and I just discovered a kind of mistype.
Just
We'll-
one.
We'll
Yeah,
get
the-
into that.
yeah.
But let's save that for the discussion, shall we?
Yeah, I'll let somebody else see if they discover it too. So I'm going to hand that over to Frank.
All righty. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. Tiffany. Let's hear from Tiffany.
Hi. Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came excellence. Wow, I got that too. From freedom came elegance. I will pick Golda.
Go, Golda.
Linux Mint, excuse me. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, hang on a second. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered by and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. Has Michael gone?
Which one?
Michael Seasons.
Sesams. Go. All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. Okay. Linmart.
Leonard was the one who went first.
Yeah, I went already.
Okay.
Yeah, he kicked it off already.
So let's go for Dan.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. Trenton.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Awesome. Linux Mint 18.3. Wow. Good start. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Sound good.
Oh, you're supposed to choose the next victim.
The next victim.
I think we only have one left.
No, you got Philip too.
Oh, okay.
I will choose Philip.
All right. Didn't Michael go? No?
I will go after you.
Awesome. All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. I choose Mike's phone.
Yeah, I've got two dogs in this fight, so that's fine. All right.
Okay.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right.
So now that we had all of the primary reads out of the way, I hope you all took some notes, took some things that you noticed. I'm going to hand the discussion over to Nathan.
Well, I already found the error. I found it when I was reading it.
Yeah.
The safe and reliable computing.
The safe and reliable.
Missing something.
Well, there's something else that's missing in there too.
In the very first line,
Mm-hmm.
says, is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. There should be a that's in there, in my opinion.
Well, not necessarily. You could also have other punctuation that needs to be in there. Maybe a dash, maybe a colon, maybe a comma.
Or well, there needs to be something. When I did it,
Yeah.
I changed it. I put that's in there.
I put a parenthesis around it like it was a sort of aside.
Yeah. Because in a lot of ways, the that's is in it. It's a kind of an
Inferred.
implied. Yeah. So people kind of get the understanding that that's where you're going with it, but it doesn't hurt to put it back in.
I'd be fine with it either way.
Right. Yeah, and the thing of it is I read through this. I did. And then all of a sudden,
you know
reading
how I
through
feel.
it again, it just kind of like, oh, here I am tripping over the.
So to clarify, this is one of those copies that you want to, what's the word? Make sure that you enunciate every word in this. Is that right? Because it seemed like
Yeah.
everybody did that.
Yeah, and the thing of it is too of course we know the major trend that is ongoing is keep it warm, keep it friendly, keep it guy, girl next door, and make sure that everybody can feel your emotions while you read this. So it's one of those things that, and it's like, even though this is corporate, we don't want it to sound or feel corporate because we want people to want this. And there's a possibility that this could be used in a non-corporate environment, as in selling it by way of like a television commercial and or radio commercial, and that's the thing. I mean, for years, people have sold operating systems in that way. I mean, way back at the beginning, and I was remembering this while I was reading it, was the old Microsoft commercial, complete with Reversi, which was completely insane. And really, we don't want that kind of read, but we want to keep it to where people who don't use this stuff on a regular basis, but use it, they don't use it intentionally, but they use it because they need it, would actually say, oh, hey, you know what? This is something I could really want because it sounds like somebody like me is using it.
So Nathan, in this case, would it be kind of like a soccer mom or soccer dad kind of reading this and kind of just telling it to the general public?
Yeah. Not the nerds like myself.
Well, I think we actually had two really good examples of almost complete opposite reads in that regard. First one up, I believe, was Alan, who had a really slow, really methodical read to it. It was very, it was almost audiobook-esque with how slow and paced it was. And then Trenton, your read was almost the exact opposite. It was fly through it as fast as possible. And I think that those were actually great examples of the two extremes that can pull you out of that sort of direct to the person discussion sort of tone. Alan, you were just a little bit too slow for that. That would, like I said, it would be perfect for like an audiobook read because people need to hang off of every single word, and that is like the perfect pace for an audiobook read. Trenton, that was a little hard sell, and it wouldn't necessarily. I don't think it would necessarily fly all that well with a lot of people. But I think somewhere right in between the two. Do you agree or disagree, Nathan? What do you think about the
Yeah,
pace?
I actually agree. I agree because and I listened to Trenton's podcast, by the way, and
Thanks.
Excellent podcast.
Thank you.
It kind of felt almost like your podcast open,
Okay. Yeah.
A little more faster pacing to it.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's like, okay, it's probably compressed to a certain amount of time, but you don't have to get through it that fast.
Yeah. Well, I got to admit, this is a new thing for me. Like, I haven't really broken into the voiceover world besides just interviewing people in the VO world. So this is all kind of a little new to me, although I did acting in high school and college and stuff. But
yeah.
I do think it was a little bit fast of a read, Michael and Nathan. I do think it was a little too fast for the soccer mom type dad that might be selling it to the general public. It's a little bit more like maybe the tagline of batteries not included, something like that.
It kind of had,
Yeah,
it had almost a car commercial feel to it.
Stop by now and get the Chevy 500.
Yeah. So I guess could we all agree that the tone needs to be in between what Alan's and Trenton's was?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not saying a whole lot.
And then with me too, you suggested that I add a little bit more dynamics.
A little bit, I think just a little bit quicker, because I don't remember any of the particular points sticking out as not sounding quite right or not fitting a certain tone or, wildly out of the tone you were in, or breaking the flow of what you were doing. I just thought it was just a little too slow for my tastes, at least for a corporate narration.
Yeah. I mean, really, it would sound more like this would probably have the feel of one of those Apple commercials. Because you know how Apple sells their stuff and they get it to the everyman.
Mm-hmm.
That's their thing is to put it in the hands of the general public and make computing actually feel comfortable to people who don't normally pick up or turn on a computer on a regular basis, just because, you know,
Ives?
Go ahead.
Like what's his face, Ives, who does it's got a beautifully shaped chassis, and it's got the highest performing CPUs, and you can see how we carefully designed that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're doing the camera's rolling over the chassis, and it's just like, first you think it's a car commercial, you know, for a Lexus. Maurice Mark doing that. You know, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia.
So that's my question, Nathan. What do you want it to be? Do you want it to be Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia or 18.3?
It would be 18.3. I mean, just you know, because 18.3, number one, it brings your mind into that corporate read. But at the same time, when people will talk about these operating systems, it's like, oh yeah, I got 18.3. You know.
Okay.
And of course, you know, the next iteration is going to be 19, and then 19.1, 19.2, you know, that sort of thing. But it's
so it's not a hacker's read.
Drop a dot out of it. And,
48.8 baud per second modem.
Now I know a couple guys over in Europe that when they're doing their Linux podcasts, they'd be like, Linux Mint 18.3, you know, that sort of thing.
Regionalisms.
But I mean, if you're selling it here in America, it'd just be 18.3, and you know, people pretty much understand that dot is in there.
Okay, so 18.3, got it.
Yeah, 18.3.
One other thing I was thinking of here is in that first paragraph where it goes both powerful and simple to use, I'd almost change it into a comma before the built. The built with a period built would make more sense if you said built on one of the most comma something else. But there's no something else there.
Yeah, where's the noun? Yes. There's an implied noun of Linux Mint.
Good
well,
point.
First thing that I would love to, or another thing I would love to know is this, would this be accompanied with a video, or is this audio only?
I think in a sense this could be audio only.
The way that it's written comes off as though it is accompanied by a video.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it might be like just display video, not really.
Yeah, not anything like super complicated, not like a fully produced commercial that's going to air or anything like that. But I mean, I think it would show little bits and pieces here of what's going on, especially with the whole, how it's almost like broken up like a poem here with the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, full multimedia support. They'd be showing, of course, Pulse Audio popping up. And then the 30,000 software solutions, there'd be the Linux software, the Mint software manager, which is excellent, by the way. And then, of course, show, you know, the fact that it's sitting on top of Linux architecture and probably showing a command line and somebody typing in apt-get install, you know, just to show that it's actually running on something really robust and solid that can run 24/7 without rebooting it.
Like a message board or something.
Yeah, so I think that actually this needs to be broken up a little bit more then, just visually at least, because if this is going to be accompanied by a video, just for the ease of use of the voice act, I would say put built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. Put that in its own line. Just hit enter and you're good.
Okay.
So that it's sort of separate. That way you can fudge a little bit with that first sentence in giving it a comma or something else after operating system to make that both wonderful and both powerful and simple to use a little bit easier to sort of hit right, if that makes any sense, sort of easier to transition into because there's nothing before that.
Mm-hmm. Give it a preload.
Yeah, so it says Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. Without a break in there, it doesn't make sense as like one whole sentence. That definitely needs either another word or it needs some more punctuation.
What if you said Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system which is both powerful and simple to use?
While I like that, I think we should contract it just to one word. Use only one word, because if you say which is, you're instantly going into sales territory and you're instantly killing the whole neighbor next door, one-on-one sort of dynamic we're going for here.
Yeah, which is why the copywriter would have.
I was going to ask, is this one-on-one, or do you think there's a?
Yeah. So I think maybe if you're going to throw another word in there, that would be a good one to include.
Okay.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use.
Yeah, that's what Frank did.
Yeah, that's what Frank did. Or you could even add a comma or a period or something in there, or a dash. Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. Give yourself a little bit of a break, make it sort of a connected yet slightly separate idea with a dash or a comma or a colon or something.
Okay.
Something else that would work too with those two sentences is so blah, 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 that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. Just a slight pause after the word built. Just kind of the first one, it just kind of makes it a little more conversational at that point, not quite as salesy, if you will.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could throw a comma in after the word built. And then just, kind of going downhill with the rest of the sentence, on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world.
Yeah, because you want somebody's grandmother to buy this. And
if we are going to fudge it up a bit too, if I may, I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but still, this is just something that popped up in my head. End users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as immediately kills that, it's still got that corporate feel.
Yeah.
Like,
so you could change such as to like.
You could. Mm-hmm.
Or what I would do if they were adamant on such as staying in, I would not take a break after as. I would make such as full media support with extreme ease of use. I would make that all one sentence. Like start that as the first point and then take a break. Access, then take a break, save. I wouldn't go such as break. It would be such as full media support with extreme ease of use.
I'd kind of leave the break in there just because it's followed by a whole laundry list, not just one item.
And bullet points.
It just what that does is it lessens the number of bullet points at that point. Because if you make that all one, you're basically eliminating one bullet point. So it's not as long of a laundry list at that moment.
As crazy as it was, and I'm talking about the old Windows commercial, and I don't know, most of us in here are old enough to remember when Steve Ballmer was trying to sell Windows on TV. How when he went through the laundry list of stuff, he really didn't pause at all, which was pretty fantastic for a guy who, doesn't really perform like we do. He's a sales guy. But at the same time, it kind of made sense, because it left in the excitement for what this thing can do, And
then when you go... Go ahead. Sorry, Nathan. No, I was just going to say, and then when you're going through the bullet points, some of the same principles that whoever was here last week when Cliff was here mentioned still apply here as well. So that that's not just like full multimedia, blah, 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 blah. Like, don't forget up,
vary the read,
down, change the pitch, change the altitude for each one so that they all sound different.
Yeah, he called it the ABC rule.
Or NBC.
NBC rule.
NBC.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing to keep in mind when you're doing those.
One reason I would keep the break in there after the such as is because whoever wrote this put in a colon there, and that means they want a break.
Yeah.
but there are things where we edit too.
Yeah. And a lot of times, unfortunately, copywriters, the way they write, it's not the way people speak.
Yeah, this is true.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Not unless that person is a robot.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue there is a couple lines down with the safe and reliable computing, and I'd like to say something like the safe and reliable computing solution powered.
Actually, all you have to do is take the word "the" out.
Yep,
that works too.
All you do is take the word "the" and it becomes safe and reliable computing powered and protected by Linux architecture.
Good.
Yeah, because if you're going for, again, if we're trying to focus on the one-on-one conversation field here, if you do add in solution, if you add in those corporate words, it instantly kills it.
Yep.
So a simpler and easier way to do it, is just remove the. So safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, as opposed to the safe and reliable computing solution powered and protected by the Linux architecture. Feel the difference between the two of those?
Absolutely.
So I think Frank's right in this regard. The safer step would be just to remove the.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I read through this and I'm like, wait a minute, that makes no sense.
Going back a little bit, actually, we were talking about putting breaks or something like that after such as. I find it interesting that it's capitalized. I think that needs to be a break. I think such as does need to go before full media support or full multimedia support.
Yeah, I
So
believe
it would be like end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. Like such as becomes the beginning of the list rather than the break just before the list.
Well, that's what I was saying, because then it basically removes one bullet point at that point, and you don't have this as long of a laundry list of different things there.
What I'm thinking is it doesn't necessarily remove one because it just fits down into it. I think it just blends the sound a little bit better. It doesn't sound necessarily like you're going into a full long laundry list, at least as hard salesy as you would otherwise.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I guess I did. My point was more just there's not that one extra break in there where you have a break after such as.
Yeah, because such as that'll kick your relaxed read right in the right where the sun don't shine, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So my proposed solution to that would be take the colon out, put a period after features, and then move such as right before full multimedia support.
I can buy that.
So hopefully it becomes something more like, instead of end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support, to end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, and then you go into it.
Okay. Are we ready to give it a go?
I believe we are.
What about the exclamation point after all this and more?
That's intended for that emphasis.
Up to interpretation.
That's a copywriter who's just like, excited.
It's kind of like all of a sudden you're getting into the old OxyClean commercial. All this and more. The powerful.
Hi, Billy Mays here for Linux Mint 8.3 Sylvia.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
But to me, that takes away from the name right behind it. The product you're trying to.
Honestly, from what I have seen, exclamation points are really up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Like there are some people who do hit them, all this and more. It can sound kind of wonky. It can sound kind of odd. It can, especially since the rest of it is sort of
tagline.
Well, not necessarily. I'm not talking about the rest of the script, but everything leading up to it isn't necessarily super exciting.
Right.
There is an issue that I keep coming across with directors saying, put in more energy. We need more energy. And they can never quite say exactly what that means because there's multiple ways to do that. There's make it faster. There's make it more exciting. There's make it more important to you. And I think that's kind of the issue that we're having here with the exclamation point. It's what is it actually trying to say? My proposed solution, and put it up there in front of everybody for you to judge, is, make it sound more important to you rather than make it like big and flashy. So instead of all this and more, something like all this and more. Like make it sound important because there is so much more.
Yeah. And let's kick this back off with Leonard.
Okay, here we go. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance. Anyone?
There was that pause after such as we're trying to eliminate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, too, in the first sentence there, you didn't put the word "that's" in there.
Yeah, that one I just read it deliberately as written.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we came up with one particular resolution for that first sentence.
It just, to me, it just doesn't sound like proper English.
Both powerful and yet simple to use, rather than that's both powerful and simple to use.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. It just seems like there's something missing there.
Like which is maybe?
No, again,
We're going to do it again. We want a contraction. If we want to make it sound not salesy, we want a contraction.
Put it that. If you put in anything, make it that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and agree that that's will go there. That's both powerful and simple to use.
Yeah, I can fully justify either way, but I'm happy to put in that's if the directors want me to do so.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Add that's to your markup.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Did Leonard hit the tone that we all agreed on? What did everyone think?
It still sounded a little shade corporate, just a little bit, but I think it's where he had paused between such as and full multimedia support. When he got into the laundry list, it kind of got back into that rigid corporate feel to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Take two.
Go for
Take
it.
two.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Nice. I like that read.
That felt a lot better.
Yeah, that was great.
Good read.
His read was really solid that time.
Thank you.
I have a question about when we're reading the such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. I know that that's how the copy was written, but it just seems kind of long or excessive. But I mean, is that how it should stay instead of just saying something like such as full multimedia support and then just end it?
No, because they're wanting to show how easy to use this operating system is.
Okay.
You know, because basically, all right, Linux has always scared off Windows users and Mac users because it's been the operating system for us nerds. But at the same time, we've got things like Ubuntu, which this is based off of, that are more user-friendly and something that you could put in front of your 80-year-old grandmother, and she'd be like, "Oh, I can do this. I can read my emails," you know, and it'd be and she'd be happy with it, you know. She'd be perusing Facebook for the rest of the day. So it's just one of those things that it lets people know that this is a really easy to use operating system. And, you know, to lob that off would just kind of take that away from actually selling what we're trying to sell here.
Okay.
God, I remember Penguin.
Penguin?
Penglings.
I thought it was a pretty solid read. You had a couple of flubs, but
Yeah.
you picked yourself up pretty quickly and continued with the read the way you were doing it. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, no, the flubs, that's why they have editing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I thought it was compared to like when you did your first read after we did everything, and then you did your first read back and then your second read. I thought your second read was much more relaxed, much more enjoyable to listen to.
I'll take that.
And of course, when the producer gets it into editing, and they'll just lob off what they didn't like with the first read and lob off what they didn't like with the second read, blend the two together, and then you've got something
Voila.
that you've never heard before, but it came out of you.
I'm trying to figure out what Michael is thinking, because he's doing that sort of deep
Yeah.
in thought, evil playing with his mustache sort of thing there.
The problem is when you say Michael, it's really difficult to tell which one, because both of us have mustaches.
Well, you're the one with the furrowed brow all the time. Michael Seasons has always got this kind of happy grin on his face. You're the one with the serious furrowed brow all the time.
Well, it's because I'm thinking, like,
And I appreciate that. That's why I'm saying I'm curious to see what Michael is thinking.
So, okay, what I'm thinking is there's an issue that Leonard kept hitting that pulled me out of that one-on-one sort of feel, and that was talking about the features themselves. He hit them as a sales point and not as an admission. So what I mean by that is Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. All right, that's obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of more of how he hit it, and it's still more on the salesy side.
Well, what you could do is you could actually do an upturn on use. So
Well,
you
here's the thing.
almost make that one complete sentence, but you take a break after use with a little upbeat, so it's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world.
Well, what I was going to say is there's a difference between trying to sell something and trying to tell something.
Yep.
Selling something, you oftentimes hit all of the description words really hard. Powerful operating system, comfortable, elegant, simple. Those things, we have this tendency to hit them because we've heard a lot of that in voiceover, and we tend to imprint that. But if you really want to tell someone something, when you're trying to be honest about something, when you want somebody to believe your sincerity, you go right through the middle of your tone. You don't go too high, you don't go too low, because going high or going low can come off as salesy.
Mm-hmm.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. I went low on all of those. That came off salesy. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. Went up on all of that. Sounded salesy. But when you want to sound authentic, when you want to sound like you're just talking about it, you go right through the middle of it. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it to deviate too high up. You don't want it to go too down low, because then you'll start moving into that salesy territory. So what I would love to hear on a third read would be going right through the middle of it. Just eye to eye, be totally honest about it. You're not trying to sell anything. The end goal is not to get any money. If you're being hired here, your transaction with the whole thing is done. Like, you go into the studio, you do the thing, they give you your paycheck, it's over. You're not trying to hustle money out of anybody. So generally when we're going for the whole guy next door, girl next door, one-on-one conversation thing, we want to go right through the middle of things. Also, last week, Cliff brought up a really good point in using your shoulders and shrugging and sort of going up with certain things to de-emphasize their or to emphasize something differently. For instance, he talked about monthly prices. What you do is you sort of do that whole, like only $39.99 a month, something like that, almost like a shrug. I think at the end of these, simple to use, extreme ease of use, you could do that sort of like shrug, yeah, whatever, So Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use. hopefully making it sound a little bit more like, hey, it's actually not all that bad. It's not all that hard. Whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, those are my thoughts on the whole thing.
Well, see, I knew there was something, so
Those are very good thoughts.
they are.
Okay, let's see if I can remember all this then, since it's been a while since take two. Okay, shall I go?
Absolutely.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. You did the exact same read as the first one. Did you feel
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I could tell that it didn't go quite right.
So I think that's starting from your prep. I notice you take a deep breath, you get up, you sort of change your view.
Okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to read this and just sort of lean into the mic, like lean towards it when you're ready to go. There's no major like sales prep for this whole thing. If we're going for a one-on-one read, we want you relaxed.
Okay.
Like unclench the shoulders, let the hair down, figuratively speaking.
Yeah, what little there's left.
But just relax into it. It's okay. Linux, you're telling somebody about this. This is a one-on-one thing.
Yep.
What are you using?
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. What did everybody think of that read?
I thought it was a little bit rushed, but other than that, I thought it could be slowed down just a touch. Not a lot, but a touch.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you were trying to keep it in under a certain time, like us promo guys do, that would have been great. But yeah, good. And I'm only saying us promo guys because I've done promo, and
I haven't done anything yet.
when you have to fold it in under 30 seconds, like, can you bring that down to at least 29 because the video is going to clip right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what are we doing? Are you going to do another one, Leonard, do you think, or go for it?
I've done three. I mean, I'm up for one more if you guys want. But
sure, do one more, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Somebody should mute. Thank you. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Very good.
And how did that feel for you, Leonard?
I like how he leaned in the mic for that tagline. From freedom came elegance.
Yeah, well, I'm brand new to all of this, so I'm still very much feeling my way forward, but it felt all right to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more note, which we can work on in the future, is I notice. Well, a lot of coaches are going to tell you to use your hands and to emote a lot when you're doing when you're actually behind the mic. And while I do definitely encourage that, it doesn't always fit with every single script. I do a lot of head movements, and they're always randomly assigned. So
Yeah.
while you're reading, you sort of, you're just moving your head around, and that is affecting the tones you're putting in places.
Okay.
The only thing I'd like to see in the future is if you're going to just use the head movements, which is totally okay, just make sure they're in purposeful places. Use that for your emphasis.
Part of this is also because right now I'm not in my regular studios, and that's in a construction zone at the moment. So I'm in a not terribly ergonomically suitable spot right here. So, but I'll keep that in mind for next week.
Yeah, well, I mean, for any of your scripts, if you do feel you need to put emphasis on someplace, it's good to assign a movement to that.
Yeah, if I do, I'll be punching the desk around and who knows, making my laptop fly, and so I'm a little more careful than usual here today.
Okay.
I do understand. My very first character thing that I did for a Edge Studio contest, I was bent over a desk with a futon and a blanket draped over me.
Mm-hmm. That was your sound booth.
And I was pulling off a character.
Wow.
Yeah, the first gig I landed, I recorded with, on this stand, I had a porta booth attached to it, and I literally had a room divider behind me with a blanket with a bunch of audio foam glued on it.
This is like my studio.
It works.
Hey, whatever works.
Hey, well,
But anyway,
booth,
all in all, I think that read was much more relaxed and much less salesy than that first read.
yeah,
So
very good.
good job.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Who is
Alan?
next? Oh, that's right. Alan was next.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, I've taken some notes. You guys have given a lot of direction. But one thing I remember for me is to make it a little more clippy. So that's what I'm going to focus on. So, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Okay. Before I put in my 2 cents, anybody else?
That was
Sure.
A better. Sorry, go ahead, Nathan. My apologies.
that was a much better delivery than that first read.
Yeah. I felt it sounded awfully sing-songy there. Not terribly conversational because it was so sing-songy.
Okay.
So I will say the pace was perfect. Pace was absolutely perfect.
That's what I was going to say. I thought the pace was right on.
Yeah, that was spot on pacing. But yeah, the sing-songy came from the fact that you ended off all of your sentences the exact same way. Now, a few really specific points that I want to start with is right at the very beginning, you hit those conjoining words really hard. Is elegant and comfortable. The system is both powerful and simple to use.
Yep.
When the ands are not important. That's not what we're trying to emphasize. We're trying to emphasize everything around it. So they're elegant and comfortable, both powerful and simple to use. So you want to make sure that when you're assigning your emphases on words, that they're not in the wrong places, specifically conjoining words and pronouns. You want to leave those poor pronouns alone. They didn't do anything to you. There's no reason to hit them. Same thing with the conjoining words.
Okay.
So that's the first little bit. The second little bit is your pitch assignments. Is ending off the words. Is how you decided to or how everything sort of flowed with the exact same flow. Full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by Linux architecture, and free open source community support. That was essentially the way that you flowed every single sentence together. It was the exact same assignment. It was the exact same flow, and that sort of pulls the listener out of it. Because
Okay.
each one of these is something slightly different. End users enjoy powerful out-of-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. You want to make every single point in the list its own important thing. Because if you do start making them just items in a list, have you ever listened to somebody just list off stuff? Have you ever stopped to listen to somebody do that? It's boring as all get out, let me tell you. Some
Right.
business meetings suck.
I hear
I
you.
remember way back when I worked at a couple pizza places, and in both of them, they decided to tell off all the stats of the pizza place. And the person was literally just listing off numbers and words. And I'm just like, what? It completely went over my head. Nobody's listening. So we want to avoid that. Every single point is supposed to be a sales point, but it's also supposed to be an important feature.
Okay.
Anyway, I know I'm really bad at trying to keep things simple. I'm awful at it. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. But just to simplify it, make sure to stay off the conjoining words and any pronouns, and give each point in the list its own importance.
Okay. Well, let me give it one more go. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
this is a lot of direction to absorb, but and I am also, like some others, new at this, but I'm going to give it a try. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
And that was a fantastic read. Great pacing. You gave each part of the list its own little bit of personality, which didn't make it run on like some boring, difficult to listen to. You took the directions really well. You took the emphasis off the conjoining words. That was perfect. That was a really, really solid read.
Excellent.
hear anything.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good, with the exception of one conjoining word. Other than
I
that,
did too.
so where you said and free open source community support, you went and free open source community support. You emphasize.
Okay.
I mean,
Fair enough.
that's
Fair enough.
like Michael would say, that's being real nitpicky.
Yeah, that's so easy to fix. It's like, can you do that one line again and just take the and out of it? And then,
Yeah. So
Yeah, it had a little bit of that too, and both powerful and simple to use. So it was in there twice, but again, that's an easy fix, and you definitely did a good job of dealing with the sing-songy thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice.
So I just have one quick question. I only allocated an hour for this, and I will definitely come back next week and give myself more time. How long do you guys usually go for my reference?
Usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
So I should block out 7 to 9.
Mhm.
Yeah, block out at least 2 hours. By the way, this week and the next 2 weeks, I have another Zoom thing at 2 hours after our start time, so I'll be leaving early also,
All right.
but I still have another 30, 40 minutes here.
I have
Yeah,
to leave early every week, so I understand.
Hey, stay for as long as you can. That's all we ask.
I'll do.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the feedback.
No, thank you for joining.
Good
Again, you did a
job.
fantastic read, and you took that direction really well.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, great job.
Mm-hmm. Most enjoyable.
Hopefully see you next week.
see you
Who
next
went
week.
after Alan?
Nathan?
Oh, yes.
I believe it was Nathan next.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the old Yiddish lady, okay?
Oh, yes, you are.
We did a pattern break. We'll get you into something.
My son uses Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. It's wonderful.
And you did it anyways.
I couldn't help myself. Just created that one. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe, reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. What did people think?
I don't know if it was my connection, but it sounded similar to the sing-songy that we were talking about a minute ago at the beginning, and then it mellowed out.
Did anybody else get that?
It might have been my connection, but
Not quite as sing-songy, but I thought it was just maybe just me, but I thought it was just a little bit fast.
Yeah.
Like some of the bullet points there started running on together and all that. There didn't seem to be enough variation in them. It's really hard to try and vary them without becoming sing-songy at that point, but
Yeah. And if you pull back too much, it's too rigid. Understood.
yeah. And you also pounded a few of the adjoining words there here and there, but
Those poor adjoining words. Leave them alone.
they're just take it up pummeling, baby.
Yeah,
Take it up pummeling,
They're
man.
innocent. They don't deserve it.
And
Don't do
All
it.
they want to do is be there, enjoy things together, and then go home and have dinner with the family.
I sent
Here
one
to
packing
support
already.
so what I do is for like ands is I change it to the letter N. That way I'm not hitting it as hard.
Yeah.
Like that's both powerful and simple to use. You know, maybe that might help you a little bit with that.
Yeah. That always. Yeah. Very much. Okay.
As long as you still make an attempt at saying the word and don't just go in.
Priority.
Well-
Predicted.
The other thing is when it comes to the list, don't forget about that whole NBC rule. You know,
That's right.
1, 6, 4, well, however you want to remember it. You can even label it however you like. But, you know, you start off at one level, you move to the next level, and then you end off somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
So full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support.
Yeah. Okay.
See the progression there?
Yes.
1, 6, 4, 1.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe, reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Nathan, it sounded a little funeral dirge to me. Maybe a little smile in it.
Okay.
I noticed that you didn't do some of the changes that we had decided on there earlier. Like you didn't have the that's in there, so you did the comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple. And also on the such as, you did it as it was originally written there with out-of-the-box features such as pause, full multimedia support.
Okay, I see what I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you had a pretty big pause there in the all this and more, which I guess it's up to interpretation. I just noted that it was there.
Yeah, I went into kind of TV promo mode right there. All this and more.
If you order now, you get.
For a
No,
limited
just-
time only.
10 hours a day broadcasting TV will do this to you.
Well, here, let's see if this will help. Just admit it. Like when you honestly tell your wife you love her, just admit it. Just say it. All this and more.
All this and more.
Sweetheart.
All this and more. Rrrr.
Get it right. Let's take it the axe.
I
Yeah.
am calling you.
I've got an axe to grind with you.
Well, as
Michael's
they say,
that kind of director.
sincerity is key. Once you can fake that, you got it made.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nathan. Wow us.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right.
Much
How
better.
sufficiently wowed are people?
Much better. Much better.
Yippers. Nice job.
You the man.
Thank you.
Now, I noted that you did pick up your energy, but as you read along, you still started a little flat.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that you were hitting some of the words, I don't know, a little too salesy, a little too hard, like the most dependable computer solutions in the world. And exaggeration
Why is
there,
that in
but
the word? Yes.
but the world was hit awfully hard, and there were, I think, a couple others that were hit hard
I love
enough
the way
to make
that
it sound
sounds.
salesy.
I love the way that sounds. The world was hit kind of hard.
Kind of
I
hard.
don't know, in a world.
In a world.
Yes, that
In a
is
Definitely don't want to do that.
That's
Linux
right.
Mint 18.3 Sylvia, rated
In a
PG-13.
world where other computer operating systems exist, Linux Mint came along.
Gave you the multimedia support you need to do voiceover.
All right. So Nathan, one more take. Try to keep the emotion a little higher up. You know, a little bit more in the happier range than the sad droll range at the very beginning.
Okay.
You're able to pick it up as you go along, so I'm not worried about that. But it's how you start off.
Yeah.
Make that
Before I start, I'm going to have to mute because I'm going to do a little something to loosen up that emotion just a little bit more. And it's something I
Oh
learned
boy!
in Horvitz, so I'm going to.
Aw, we want to hear. We want
Yeah,
to
come on.
Yeah,
Come
we
on.
wanna hear.
Let us in on it.
Yeah, let's
Share a bit.
Got it. So laugh at yourself.
Now he sounds like a Bond villain.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe, reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
There you go.
There you go. That's it. That's the take.
That was the thing that
Hey,
was
the man.
needed to warm up to this right there. And I've used that multiple times in different things that I've done. And it helps so much. I did it in something that was actually a very serious piece of copy. And I did that whole laughter thing before doing it. And it was supposed to be serious, somber, a little more gravitas. But at the same time, it helped me so much with that piece of copy that, it made that read just right. And I landed like,
Hey, who's kidding who? It was a hell of a way to sell a funeral home.
well, in this case, it was something in an animation, and I was doing a particular role that where the scene really called for that kind of seriousness, and so it was just like, you know. But yeah, it works every time, you know, for any situation.
Here.
Yeah.
All right. So, in the interest of time, who followed Nathan?
Right.
I believe that was me.
Yes, that was Frank.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right, opening it up. What did everybody think?
Had a bit of a fast pace to it.
Yeah.
Did it? I thought so. Maybe when I got into it, I thought I was going a little fast.
You got off to a really good gallop right there.
But you kept the rhythm through the whole thing too, though. That was the key too. So it didn't sound too bad. It's just a little fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's supposed to be time compressed, you made it.
Yeah, it sounded like a solid read to me. The one thing that I noticed was the one I mentioned with was the thing I mentioned with Nathan too. The all this and more. So and
break.
that I don't know. You may want to leave it there. You may not want to leave it there, but I noted it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything
One
else?
thing that I noticed was on the bullet list where you didn't hit the NBC tonality kind of thing. It seemed to be the same bullet tone each one.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I did catch some variation in there, but I don't know. Maybe you can use a little more.
I can. All right, let's do it again. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3, Sylvia end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
I would have to defer to Michael on this one because I hear nothing wrong with that read.
I actually heard something. It was a little bit of a jump there, and he probably would just take a pickup on that line. Was when he said with Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia.
Yes,
It was
I heard that one too.
I heard it.
Sylvia end users, yes.
Yeah.
Sylvia
I heard that. I heard that, but it sounded like it fit with the script.
Yeah.
When
What
he
did
said
I
with
say?
Mint-
With
when you
Linux-
said Mint 18.3, Sylvia end users enjoy
Yeah.
powerful.
Well, again, that's the way it's written with the comments. With Linux Mint 18.3, Sylvia end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features. Like if you read it the way it's written with the comma.
Okay.
I don't have a comma there.
Your comma there.
I don't have
Yeah, I
don't
don't
have
have
there
a
either.
comma there either.
Was this updated?
Because like the name of the operating system is Linux Mint 18.3. Sylvia is kind of
Yeah.
like I don't-
Sylvia is actually the
Sylvia is the
operating system.
yeah.
It's
Sylvia is
kinda
the name of the operating system.
okay, so it is Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Linux Mint Sylvia is all one thing.
Okay.
Like Apple's Maverick and all the different
Or
things.
Cheetah.
Yeah.
Or if there were commas, it would be on either side. So it would be 18.3 Sylvia users, but I think it's all one word.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
no
it's all-
comma, so everything should really run together.
Okay.
It would be,
Yeah.
it would be
That's your
antecedent
product
comma.
name right there. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia.
Well, if that's the worst thing that I did,
what's going on.
Not too shabby.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that was
Michael's-
the only thing I heard.
Michael's got his
I heard some weird jumps that you assigned in there. like built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. There was this weird jump you put right there. And I know it happened somewhere else in here. I just can't for the life of me remember specifically where. And that really, I don't know, for me it broke the flow. I guess I'm just the only weirdo that actually like super pays attention to this stuff, but
I broke the flow, bro.
well, the thing is, you know, if you're trying to sound like a one-on-one, you know, conversation, and you're trying to get people to think, hey, this is absolutely freaking awesome. Those weird breaks, those weird assignments, they do sort of throw you out of it.
Okay.
And forgive me, but it really sounded salesy at the very beginning.
Okay.
Like I really heard you hit all high emphases on elegant and comfortable operating systems, powerful and simple to use. It came off a little more salesy than I would have liked, but that's just my preference.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would have liked to hear more of just admit, just right down the middle. You know,
Okay.
elegant and comfortable operating systems. You're just talking about it. You know, these are just features.
Okay.
Even the descriptions are just features.
Let me do it one more time and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Yeah.
Good
I'm
job.
not gonna get picky with that.
All right. Thank you. Tiffany was next.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support and extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Yeah.
I love that. You have such a natural flow to your reads, such a natural tone to your voice. It's difficult. It seems like it's difficult for you to move into that salesy realm, which
Oh, thank you.
that's a good thing. That's
Yes, very.
You threw in an extra word, full multimedia support. Wait, no, where was it?
In extreme ease of use.
Yeah, it was
And extreme ease of use.
with ease.
What? Oh yeah. You replaced a word. Sorry. So in the
Got
second,
it.
full media support. With extreme ease of use, you said and extreme ease of use.
Got it.
So I mean, be careful of the word replacements.
Got it.
Otherwise, I'd love to hear you just relax yourself a bit more. I know it's kind of stressful reading up in front of a lot of people. Have you had a lot of experience with this?
Not really. So
Okay.
that's why I'm trying to do more of this. Yeah.
Okay. And I know it can be a little bit, intimidating reading in front of a bunch of other people, but we're all in the same boat.
Right.
We really are. And that's the whole point of the mic check, is to get the mistakes, is to get the jitters, is to get everything out of the way so that when you're actually, in front of somebody who can give you an opportunity, you feel confident, you've done this 100 times before, and it's no big deal. It's just something
Right.
you do every week. So I want you to approach this with that mindset. This is just relax. We're all in the same boat. We're not going to pick you apart. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that you're the most awful and horrible human being in the world. It just means you're a human
That would be
being
me.
like the rest of us.
Okay. Okay.
There were a couple points there where I felt you could a little bit tighten it up. You had like Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, pause, is an elegant and comfortable operating system. And same thing there with the full multimedia support, pause, and then your word replacement and extreme ease of use.
kind of like.
So there were a
Elon.
couple pauses there that might be tightened up just a little bit.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and give us another read?
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
She missed a word. She missed
Uh-oh.
powerful. You missed powerful, and you did that
Uh-oh.
pause again right there after support.
Yeah, in both of the same spots, you had the same pauses.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features. So powerful was missed.
Got
Just
it.
put a pause between full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. Here's something that you can try. And this is something that I like to do with my reads when I'm trying to hold ideas all together. And this is what I mean by holding, by the different ideas that you would need to hold all together. So let's just take the first sentence as an example. So Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. I unfortunately can't change my script, so I have to keep the notes mentally, so forgive me for that. But the ideas that you'd want to hold together are elegant and comfortable,
Powerful and
operating
simple.
system, powerful and simple to use. So the way that would come off is, without the brackets, without anything, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. All right?
Mhm.
After bracketing off the different ideas, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. So these different ideas that need to be held together, use brackets, circle them, use something to make sure that you mentally keep them all together. So full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, that's all one idea that needs to be bracketed and locked together in place. Powerful, out-of-the-box features are three separate ideas that you can give a little bit of weight to individually. Do you see what I mean here? Like, do you see where I'm coming from? Okay.
Yeah.
So find these different ideas that need to be linked together throughout there, and make sure that on your script, make sure that on your script they're definitely linked together. I like to use brackets. I don't know how other people do it. Maybe people underline it, maybe they circle it, maybe they highlight it. Whatever the case may be, use what works for you, but make sure that the ideas that need to be linked together, that need to hold together, are kept together.
Okay.
So access to over 30,000 software solutions. I don't know, some people might put a break after 30,000, some people might put a break after software, but it's 30,000 software solutions, or over 30,000 software solutions. Safe and reliable computing, BAM, powered and protected, BAM, by the Linux architecture. And free open source community support. So those are the different ideas that need to be held together throughout this whole thing. Later, Dan.
See you, Dan.
Oh man.
So whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry about that. Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Did that feel different to you?
Yeah, felt good.
How did it sound to everybody?
I like
Yeah, I'm still hearing the pauses in the exact same places. So I'd kind of like you to just say the first sentence, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable, without a pause after the Sylvia.
Okay,
So just go ahead and say it now.
sure. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use.
Okay. I even caught a little bit of a pause there after the Sylvia still, but it's much better.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was definitely an improvement. Bracketing off the ideas helped everything flow a little bit easier for you.
Mhm.
At least it
Yeah.
sounded like it did, because
Yeah.
you got through that. It seemed like you were a little bit more relaxed through that read, or at least if not so relaxed, it seemed like you felt more confident in hitting those different ideas and in getting through the entire thing.
Right. Yes.
And you had the exact same thing with full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. So just make it all flow together with no pause there in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and give us one last read. Yeah, make sure to just hold everything together. If you need to, I think it'll also be good to pick up your pace just a little bit, just a
Okay.
hair faster.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. I would suggest, and I suggest this for anybody really, but do a little bit of research and find a coach. Start working with a coach, because there are little details that you definitely need to have. And this, again, this is general. This is not specifically to you. So don't take this as anything personal. But there are those little details in everybody's reads that will need more time and more of a one-on-one to handle. So I would highly, highly suggest always looking for and working with a coach. Though you have plenty of space and time to practice here on the mic check, this isn't coaching, and I don't want anybody to confuse this as coaching. We want you to get out there. If this is something that you really want to pursue, you definitely need to find someone who to work with, to give you the direction that you need to really fix up those reads. There are many places you can find voiceover coaches. One that I like to nudge as sort of like an all-in-one thing. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I mean, it's a simple place to find a lot of different coaches in one location. That's opencoaches.com. So OPENCOACHES, opencoaches.com. Take a look. If you find a coach you like, you can either go through there or go to them directly. We're trying to have more coaches and more big names in the industry on the mic check, so that you can get some one-on-one time with them too. You're always welcome to ask for more information from them as well, but definitely work with somebody who is well established in the industry to help you with the finer details of the reads. So,
Michael, could I recommend a couple?
You absolutely can.
Great. I've had real good luck with Mark Cashman, for one. Good overall. And also Debbie Derryberry.
The character. LA.
Yeah.
I've been working with
both do the
Nancy
Skype
Wolfson.
coaching.
Yeah, I've been working with Nancy Wolfson. She is absolutely fantastic and also a well-respected name in the industry. All the other coaches that were mentioned here too. What was it? Debbie
Derryberry.
Derryberry.
And
B.I. Derryberry.
Jimmy Neutron.
Yep, that's her.
Derryberry
Yep.
and Mark Cashman are also great.
Yes, indeed.
We had Kim Handysides on. She is also pretty fantastic at what she does. You know, it's always good to find somebody to work with.
That's who I'm working with is Kim.
Yes.
She's very good.
But anyway, back to the reads. Tiffany, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Much better job on the pauses.
Thank you.
You also have a great voice for e-learning, if you want to get into that.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Tiffany, I actually closed my eyes and I was like thinking of you doing a commercial with some kind of sleek kind of, iMac Black, the new Pro, kind of just reading it and being real sleek, almost like a car commercial, but you have a really smooth voice. I love it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. You've got a really good voice.
All right. So who came after Tiffany?
I did.
Golda.
All right, Golda, you're up.
All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full media support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Okay. What did everybody think?
Well, I noticed the full multimedia turned into full media. The multi kind of dropped off. But other than that, it was pretty good to me.
Is it Linux or Linux?
Linux.
Linux.
It is Linux? Okay.
Yeah.
Short I sound, not long I.
Okay.
Even though Linus created it, it's Linux.
Sure.
I know. Go figure that one.
Sure. I would like to hear more authority.
Okay.
Like this is your wheelhouse. I know you're an IT lady. So
Yep.
So I would like to hear more of that. Goldie knows what she's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to know about this? Let me tell you. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Alright.
you're an authority of it. You're an
Okay.
authority on Linux.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and colorful. Okay, let me try that again.
It's so
Linux-
colorful.
It's so colorful. It comes in gray or gray.
Sorry, Goldie.
Actually, it's mint green. Okay.
I can see the colors.
Let me get it back together there. Okay, sorry. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating. I'm putting that comment space in there that Leonard mentioned before. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Now, if I may, just like with Nathan, your energy picked up as you went through the script, but you were pretty dead at the very beginning of the script.
Okay.
It really felt like you during that read that you sort of interrupted yourself, where you just got out like the first sentence, you had great energy going into it.
Uh-huh.
But during this one, it was more subdued. And
Okay.
I mean, this is kind of what I heard in the second sentence. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is the most dependable computing solution in the world.
Okay.
Like that's a big claim.
Yeah.
Like you don't run out of steam. Start with it.
Okay.
Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. You got this. You got this.
Let me scribble something here and see if that helps me. All right. Again.
Please.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with... Excuse me, can I do that again? Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, all this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. Did that read feel different to you?
Yes.
Did you feel more energetic? Because you
Yes.
sounded a little bit more energetic. What did
Yeah.
everybody else think?
She sounded peppy and had a pretty good pacing, I think, throughout the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was more like listening to that soccer mom instead of just some salesperson trying to sell me on a product. More like, hey, have you heard about the Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia?
But did you feel what I sort of pointed out at the beginning, where she didn't quite have as much energy?
Where in this read she was
Yeah.
more consistent. You mean
No,
like
I'm into the
versus the
previous
last one? Yeah. Her
Yeah.
her energy was
Yeah,
really
the
good
energy
from the
was
start.
from the start all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was consistent.
And so, Golda, you did a fantastic job of leaning right into the steam of it and going through with the whole thing. It was great.
Woo!
Fantastic read.
Thanks.
Yay.
Michael. The other Michael.
So, just for clarification, is it Sesams or Sesams?
Yeah, I
It is
botched
Sesame.
it. It is
Sesams? Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sesams.
I don't know why I think there's
Yep.
2 E's in there.
That's all right. There's tons of S's, so everything gets mixed up.
Yeah, the E's turns into S's turned into E's. And yeah.
Well, remember, you're
know.
Mike 1. You're Mike 1. I'm Mike A. Just so that nobody's
Okay.
to anybody
So
else.
mic check.
Right.
It's the mic check, yes.
No, M-I-C,
That's
not M-I-K-E. We're not tuning in to check in on me or on Sesams.
The new podcast,
Mike
mic check.
check for voiceover. Coming for next week's mic check, where I tell you I am A-OK.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I will.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Brian, what did everybody think?
Well, if I wasn't already using it, I'd want this operating system.
That was a very nice read, Mike.
That really was.
Thank you.
That was an incredibly
And
approachable.
you know what you did that nobody else has thought of to do?
What's that?
In the first sentence, you really, not hard, but you emphasized the word both. So that when you went through powerful and simple, we knew powerful and simple were key words, but you emphasized the word both.
Right.
And that emphasized powerful and simple without having to elevate them or change the tone on them. I thought that was really clever.
Thank you.
Now, because we're in the mic check, I'm going to let this slide. But if you were in the studio, make sure that you do not have a clicked pen, because that little click thing at the end of it is going to rattle back and forth, and the microphone is going to pick every single one of those up.
Thank you for that.
I remember I was in session doing I think it was from Mazda, and I had a pen in my hand, and I kept it in between my fingers, and I kept it unclicked. But the studio tech is like, he had to stop me in the middle of the read. He's like, Mike, can you please put that down? You're making me really nervous with it.
Oh my God. I never thought about that.
Yeah, make sure if you do have it in your hand, make sure it's unclicked. You know that the pen end is in, so that that little clicky part doesn't
slide back and
shake
forth.
around. Because I was hearing that clicking constantly, and I'm like, this is such a fantastic read. If he was actually in the studio and this was actually a gig, this would be a wasted take because there's too much clicking to remove right in the middle of what he's saying, and it's so prominent.
It's amazing. It's amazing what gets picked up. Like, I mean, I've learned whenever I go to a studio, I never have change in my pocket anymore because it can jingle.
Yeah.
And I wear 2 rings, my wedding ring and another one. I always take my rings off and put them in separate pockets when I go into the studio, because a lot of times you're reading off of a mic stand or something, and I don't know how many times I'm going, it's like, oh, I got a great read going, it's perfect. And right near the end, all of a sudden, click, I hit the mic stand with my hand or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just, it's weird little things, but things that you get used to doing. So.
So once again, fantastic read. I really don't have anything to say about it. Everything was fantastic.
Right.
It was really good. Just be careful with the pen, please.
Yeah.
I will
lose
the pen from now on.
Yeah.
Pencil, if anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go with pencil or stick pen.
Yeah, one thing I found is I record, well, obviously I record auditions, but sometimes I record my practices. And then when I play back, I hear things that you're not going to notice when you're in the middle of reading because you're busy reading. And then
Right.
at it later, you're like, oh, wait, oops, I didn't realize I bumped that, or I had this thing that was crinkling or whatever.
Or you get that clicky mouth sound or something
Yes.
going on.
Okay.
Apples.
That I usually notice because it doesn't so much.
Yeah.
My
Honestly-
one thing on the on this read was I guess I'm the pause police around here, but there was the elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. There was a bit of a pause there between the system and the that's.
Which sounded absolutely fantastic.
So, okay.
That one
Well,
worked.
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
A lot of that, yes, it's up to personal interpretation, and that's sort of the folly of voiceover, is that somebody's great read could be somebody else's awful read, and there's never any way to really, it's really difficult to tell. The only way you can tell is if you're hired. That's all that matters.
Yep. I've been,
and it's a good read.
I've been a little bit sensitized to try to eliminate any unnecessary pauses, but I know it's much up to interpretation,
Also-
and that was a great read.
Also, with that, the pause there felt natural, specifically because that's a really long sentence, and people don't normally say these really, really long stretches of things all the way through, unless you're me, and you just can't help it.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be more conversational than salesy anyway, so
Yeah, exactly.
it makes it feel more natural.
And sometimes you're hanging on, trying to breathe with them,
Yeah. We actually had, he's the owner of a studio out here in Cyprus. His name is Tim Keenan. And he's been part of the industry for over 30 years, and he does a lot of corporate work. And one of the main things that he says is he actually doesn't edit out any of those, if possible, any of the pauses or the breaths or anything, because the person who's listening breathes along with that.
Yeah.
Like that's part of like a natural mental flow.
Right.
Anyway, time for me to run. Thanks. I'll listen to the thing on
Leonard.
YouTube later, and see you next week.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
I can
All right, so-
stay on for a
Sherry
little
next?
bit more, but
Sherry's next. She's taking Dan's spot because he had to back out.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm
he's-
glad we
he's-
have time.
Yeah, he said you could take his spot.
Okay. Well,
Well,
thank
we're going
you.
to make sure everybody has a chance to read. So, I mean, if you need to go, you need to go. But if you can stay, please stay.
And if I drop, it's because I need to go, not because I'm
Okay.
walking out on you.
Well, has everybody else read? Has everyone
but
else
you're
read,
taking,
Michael?
you're taking the next space of Dan. Dan had to leave early, so.
Everybody has already read once. Now we're doing
Okay.
the second read through, so everybody has read once already.
Okay.
You're not bumping anybody.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system, both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
And then I realized that you missed the discussion portion of the mic check.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It was very commercially.
That was a good starting read, but let's go ahead and fill you in on some of the changes that we made to the script itself.
Oh,
So
okay.
Go ahead and make it editable if you can, or make a mental note. So first sentence, Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, we agreed it's 18.3 instead of 18.3, is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. We added that's. Then we moved down to end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features. Then what we did is we moved such as down to in front of full multimedia support, and we removed the colon.
Okay.
So end users
How can you survive without a colon?
Well, there's some people who can, but end users enjoy.
We removed the colon. Yes. Okay. So such as goes where?
So such as goes right in front of full multimedia support. So end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. So such as becomes part of the first bullet point.
Okay.
And then the safe and reliable computing, we removed the.
Safe and reliable computing. Okay. Okay.
All right, and those are all the
Linux
changes.
architecture. Okay.
Can I make a
Alrighty.
comment about the read?
Yes.
It was really nice. The brightness of the read that you had.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I liked how you sound, Sherry, and your pacing was really pretty good too, I thought.
Thank you.
And of course, that smile you always have came through.
Well,
Bright and bubbly.
a good OS just makes you happy, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he
Yes.
was also picking up on what we all discussed last week with Cliff Zellman. I could tell that she was kind of using some of that as she went through.
Definitely.
Okay. So, Michael, you were talking a little bit. You bring up Cliff. You were talking a little bit about being open to interpretation and different flavors and what one person likes, another person doesn't. Cliff last week busted me on chuckling. He said, "Don't chuckle. It always sounds fake. Don't do it."
Yeah.
I read For an Agent, and they said, "I really like that chuckle. I wish more voiceovers would put that in their stuff."
Oh my God.
So I mean,
Like I said,
and I only bring that just you mentioned Cliff, and I just remember that, and I just thought,
Well,
you do what
honestly,
you like, and then go.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
well-
when it comes to VO, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Like
There's
you get a job based on how much somebody likes your performance and
Yep.
likes your voice, and nothing more than that. Like, sure, there are hard and fast rules that some people stick to. Sure, a lot of coaches have their like specifics, and there are things that you can do to move into good voiceover territory. But in the end, after you remove things like, not hitting the pronouns, not hitting the conjunction words, getting away from the salesy feel, after that, it's sort of gray and miasmic.
Yeah.
There are people
Ooh,
who,
miasmic.
Wow.
Miasmic, removing colons.
Today's miasmic.
Okay, going from promo to animation. There's a bunch of stuff when I started doing animation that I threw away. And then when I went back and started doing promos, I had to bring it all back.
Sure, so it depends on
it's
what you're
all-
doing.
it's,
You know what? I gotta admit, I don't even know what miasmic means.
nebulous, decentralized,
Vague.
vague. Yeah.
Thank you. There's a word I know.
Do you know that word?
I know that word. I've often been told that's what
Fuzzy.
Anyway,
I am. That
why
too.
don't you
I've
go
often been
ahead?
told I'm
So
not.
Sherry, give us another read. Lean into it. Just be as personable as you can.
Okay. Oh, my son came in. Hey, Papa. Okay.
I looked
excuse me.
just real quick.
They're
I
going to go
looked up
read in
my
the other
asthma.
room. Sorry.
I
look
looked
up
up
my
my
asthma.
asthma. It
Hold
says
on to your colons.
a noxious atmosphere or influence.
Of course it does. Why not? Now I got to look. Now I got to look up the definition.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Anyway,
A foul-smelling vapor arising from rotting organic matter.
Wow. So miasmic. Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing I'm going to start over at the top. Sorry, guys. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use. Built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful, out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use. Access to over 30,000 software solutions. Safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
The
I
access
liked
to
your
over
background
30,000.
thing.
The access to over 30,000 software solutions sounded really salesy to me.
Okay. Access to over 30,000 software solutions.
It's a point. It's
Yeah.
I would
And
think
Access
also,
to over 30,000 software solutions.
and also
Okay.
watch how much you drag out the word extreme.
Extreme. Okay.
full multimedia support with extreme ease of use.
That's right. Extreme.
Sunday, Linux Mint. But anyway, other than that one point, the rest of it was a fantastic read.
Okay.
thought so,
Thank
too.
you.
Don't worry, no need to take another one. We're running way over time now, but
Okay.
that's okay. You did fantastic. You took the directions well. The changes stuck. All good.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Great job.
So who's next?
Thank you, Michael. Other Michael.
Who was next? Was it Philip or was it Trenton?
I believe it was Trenton.
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 Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah, go get him.
All right. Linux Mint 8. Wow. Hold on.
Slow down.
I'm expecting this to be fantastic. You've had all of this direction coming through.
I've been taking notes all night long. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use.
All right, I'm
Built
going
on
to
one
stop
of
you
the most-
right there
Yeah,
real quick.
slow it down.
You are way too fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Linux Mint 18.3 is, wow. I don't want to know what I'm saying there. Sorry.
Take a deep breath and relax. You look really tense to me, Trenton.
Yeah. And don't say sorry all the time. You sound Canadian.
Sorry, guys. I interview so many Canadians.
And I
become
can
Canadian.
say that because I am
Texan.
Canadian. So
Okay.
in case anybody thinks I'm slagging.
Aye. All right. Read it slower than you think it should be.
Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. What did everybody think?
It was better, but you were reading downhill.
Downhill.
So
Yeah,
you started to speed up as you were going on. It's
Okay.
like you were going downhill, but you weren't pumping the brakes at all.
Okay.
So, but other than that, I mean, and just a little bit too with those bullet points there. Yeah, the NBC rule kind of went out the window a bit. It was
Okay.
but other than that, yeah, way better than your first read was. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Huge improvement.
Way better.
Appreciate it.
The other thing that you need to focus on, besides the pace, is when you hit all this and more, you suddenly came way out of your emotional range.
Okay.
You were like right in the middle. You were talking to me, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered by and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Like it just suddenly broke, you broke free of the roof of the building and set up for the rest of this read. It's just, bam, all this and more. Like, yeah, extreme. That's awesome. Yeah, extreme.
There's more.
Okay.
Again, the exclamation point is really, really tricky because it could mean a number of things, but you need to make sure that it fits with the feel of the rest of the read.
Like more of a punch, but not like a breaking out, like busting out kind of a thing. More
Well,
like all
like,
this
make it
and
more important to you. Put a little
No,
bit of vocal tension on more instead of like energy. Instead of instead of emotion, instead of speed, put vocal tension. All this and more. Like let it really hit the base of your voice. All this and more. Like this is a selling point and it's important, but you don't want to be like all this and more. Like way out of suddenly you're a car salesman.
So take the emphasis more off of the beginning and put it more on. So all this and more.
Yes.
Something like
all
that.
this and
Okay.
more.
So hit it
Yeah,
more
do
on
that
more,
with
not
your
on all.
eyebrows again.
Sorry,
Oh,
raise your
more.
eyebrows, not your voice.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
There you
It's the eyebrows, not the voice.
All this and more.
There you
No,
go.
no. Don't hit end. Don't hit end.
All
Don't hit
this
end.
and more.
All this and more.
All this and more.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Like Dan was saying before, in a case like that, that would be where you'd want to throw almost just an in. All this and
All
more.
this and more. And okay.
So
Yeah, just stay off of those conjunctions. Don't hit the end.
anyways, guys, listen, I got a hockey game I have to watch because it's the playoffs and I got to go because it starts very, very soon. So
You gotta go, you poser.
Good night,
this is
Frank.
a religion to us here in Canada, so I'm out of here.
All right. Have a good night, Frank.
See you guys all next week.
Enjoy, Frank.
Have
Take
fun.
care. You too. Go get
All
it.
right. Trent, go for it.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing, powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom comes elegance. Came elegance, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Once again, speed is a little high, but everything else was right within where we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my speed is hard because doing the podcast as long as I have, speed is like everything. And so that's a little different for me to be slower. I'm like, feel like I'm dragging, like it's too
funny.
slow, but
The funny thing is that's actually the same kind of transition that radio talent has to make when coming into voiceover. Frank,
Talent.
yeah,
Because when you're doing
Frank
promos, you have to
was
get in under.
Frank was on a radio station for years and years and years. He came into us, still on the radio station. We've had plenty of other people who were radio talent. Moving in, and that's the biggest thing. It's the biggest hurdle is getting over that. I've got to stay crunched within a certain time frame. Feel
Right.
you have the purchase when you're behind the microphone as a voice actor to go ahead and slow down just a little bit. In fact, some things that you'll listen to are actually read slower than what you'd normally say.
true. Yeah.
So I would say just go ahead and allow yourself to slow down on it a little bit more.
Okay.
Think of your pace as walking down the street.
Okay.
Right now you're at a very brisk walk. You're almost at a power walk. We want you to go to a leisurely stroll.
Okay.
So like I said
Linux-
before, read it slower than you think it should be.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, Philip. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Nice.
Booyah!
Great read. Great
Yeah,
read.
Thank you.
You started picking up the speed just a little bit at a few points, but you slowed back down, and that's good. That's
I was
good.
tapping my finger and kind of trying to keep a pace that was kind of like, oh, I'm going too fast.
There you go. Hey, whatever you got to do, as long as that's working for you. As long as that's working for you.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was a great read because of it.
Okay, cool.
Very nice.
All right. Who's
Thanks.
next?
I think it was Philip.
That's right. It was Philip.
All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, the safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. What did everybody think?
I liked a lot of what Philip did, but you need to change up your delivery when you go through the, such as full multimedia support, the bullet points, the
Yeah, the listing.
Yeah, differentiate your list.
Okay.
On top of that, there was also some of the changes that we decided upon that you missed. For instance, moving such as to right before full multimedia support and removing the before safe and reliable computing.
Oh. All right.
Go ahead and give us another read.
All right. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
All right. What did everybody think of that read?
I thought the pacing was good.
Very good pacing.
Definitely agree.
The tone was really good too.
Solid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a solid read.
All right, thank you very much. Trenton, I just want to tell you that, like, on my very first day on this mic check, I was also a fast reader, but,
Yeah.
these guys helped me out a lot. These guys.
Well, it's definitely been very educational. I've learned a heck of a lot tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
So you interview voice actors, you said?
Yeah, I've had 118 on the show so far. Well, roughly 118. Some of them are tribute episodes to actors that have passed away, but last week was Cam Clark. And then in 2 weeks, I have Tom Hanks' brother, Jim Hanks, coming on the show.
Nice.
So he voices Woody for his brother when he's busy, and Jeffrey the Giraffe for Toys R Us. So.
Wow, that's really cool.
You got to
Well,
check
now
Oh,
out the
poor
podcast.
Jeffrey.
I know. I was so depressed because he's like super
Poor
cool. And
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Jim sounds just like
Got a
his brother
job.
Tom. It was freaky. It was so freaky.
Well,
You
now
got to
get
check out the podcast. It's really excellent. And go back and listen to some of the archive stuff.
I've had like Barbie and Kit from Knight Rider, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, you name it. So
It's so
Nice.
Fun. Trenton,
Well, now-
what is your podcast? Can you post
called-
it in the chat?
yeah, I can post it in
Please.
chat. It's just
Yeah.
called
Thank
Who Did
you.
That Voice?
that in the
Well,
Who did
now
that
you get a
voice?
good
Who did
little
that voice?
view of what voice actors face.
And some of the actors y'all have talked about, like I had Debbie Derryberry on the show because she was Jimmy Neutron, and she does have a book and she teaches. So sometimes if you're looking at like getting in a, like earlier, I know some of us in the class now are probably more educated than some of them. I don't know how many of you are new or not, but sometimes picking up their books too is a great way to learn information before you decide on who to pick for a coach and stuff. So, but I'll put the website.
That is a great book. That is a great book from Debbie.
And she'll autograph
Definitely
it
recommend.
for you too. So.
That's cool.
There's a link for the website.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
looks
on.
like
Awesome. Thank you.
the end of another good, very good mic check.
We
And-
missed Michael. Big Mike.
Well, I mean, I can go, but I don't. I mean, we're running way over time.
We're here.
Well, we
Go ahead.
need Michael. Oh, well, before we close it out, then
Aw.
Michael have a read.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
I like the way you took that, all this and more. Like the way you say it, it was like really solid. I like that.
I really liked your ABCing in that one paragraph.
That's something I'm still trying to work on, but
Mhm.
We'll use every
I thought
last
you did a
minute.
great job. I will nitpick you, my
Please
dear
do.
brother. You ended from freedom came elegance kind of on an up note,
Yeah.
and you didn't make it land.
Yeah.
Okay. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia is an elegant and comfortable operating system that's both powerful and simple to use, built on one of the most dependable computing solutions in the world. With Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, end users enjoy powerful out-of-the-box features, such as full multimedia support with extreme ease of use, access to over 30,000 software solutions, safe and reliable computing powered and protected by the Linux architecture, and free open-source community support. All this and more. Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia. From freedom came elegance.
Yeah, that was nice. You buttoned it up. good.
Nice.
Woo!
Yes, that was a
Yes,
very
landed on
nice
that.
landing.
Very good.
Yes. And now that he has buttoned that up so well and did a very fantastic read, that is the end of the mic check. Okay, end of the month. All right, Michael, end of the month, right?
The 21st. Yep.
The 21st.
Oh, the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have
Everett
No, it
Oliver.
can't be.
Everett
Sorry,
Oliver.
sorry.
That's right.
Whoa, yeah,
I gotta
It's
play
gonna be
off of
Everett
Michael here a
Oliver.
little bit. We are going to have Everett Oliver on the 21st. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be an awesome mic check. Hey, we're going to have a great mic check next week too, so don't miss that one either. We don't know what Michael's going to be bringing us. It's going to be
It's all up to me.
fantastic. So,
Hey guys, just real quick, I wanted to say thank y'all for having me tonight. I don't know how often I'll be able to get on, but I will definitely get on as much as I can. I stay super busy with my show, but this has been absolutely fantastic, and I really did learn a lot tonight, you guys.
Thank
Great
you very much
having
for
you.
joining
Yeah.
us.
thanks for coming.
I'm glad I
Yeah.
came, man. It was awesome.
Thanks for your podcast too. That's a cool podcast.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Excellent podcast. And all right, we will see you guys next Monday.